15, Korey Kealey, Bento Boxes, which I learned. I didn't know this because I haven't really made lunches for them yet.
Yeah.
They're sectioned off boxes, is that what that is?
Well, it's kind of that concept. If you go to a Japanese restaurant, you order a bento meal, it'll come in typically a square that has dividers, and you'll have your rice in one place, your meat in one,
now I know
your
what you're talking
vegetables,
about. Okay.
your sauces
I didn't
and
know
stuff.
the name of it.
So it's more of a concept than anything, and there are all kinds of great little gadgets out there and things that can help make your life easier. And so with this whole purpose of this is to make your life a little bit easier. If you can take one little teeny weeny tip out of this to just make the lunch time process a bit better go, but don't take any pressure from this, because as parents, we have so much pressure to pack a lunch. The litterless lunch, I get it, and it's important, but it's so hard.
It is so hard, and I'm glad you acknowledge that, because
it's tough.
You know, there's a lot of guilt that comes along with being a parent and making sure that your kids, one, are getting a well-balanced lunch, and that, you know, when the teachers look and aren't judging, oh, we know about those parents.
I know,
like,
well,
oh my
you know
God.
what, the days that I just have to do the little plastic Ziplocs, those are the days, just do it, but try your best. So,
so let's get started. Let's see what we can do.
Bento thing. So I honestly can't stand making lunches. So I feel your pain.
Yeah.
And so some things we want to do with our children is to think maybe like them. They're at school. They have about 15 minutes to eat their lunch. It's a very, very short time.
Right, yeah.
Quite often they have to sit in silence. They're not even allowed to speak. It's interesting to me because you know, we think about our kids being social at lunchtime, but it's not the case. They have 15 minutes. They're knocking it off their list. So
it's a little bit different than when I was a kid, which was like, hey, what do you got there? I'm going to give you this, and chit chat.
Yeah, and it's often in their classroom too. They're not even going to a lunchroom. So you kind of do want to make it a little bit interesting for them, and they might want to get a little bit involved too. So things we want to look for. I found this.
Those are the coolest things ever.
This is like a bento box. And the reason I love this is the issue is keeping food safe. It has to be cold. So this is a Rubbermaid thing. They've called them lunch blocks. And so these little blue things you put in the freezer and they snap on. But then you've got this bento style container. When you open it, this can fit right in there if you wish for space. And then you've got your containers that you can put your vegetables, your whatever, or separate.
And so if you have an older kid, this is salad dressing, right?
That's salad dressing, or it's soy sauce, or it's anything, and it's sealed. So one of the things when you're packing a lunch, if you're putting liquid, it really needs to be sealed. I advise even looking to make sure it has one of these rubber lining and a lockdown, because that's one thing. Bento boxes typically don't have a seal on them. So if you, anything liquid or that lets off liquid, you might want to do. So this then, you can put your cold stuff here. And so here I'm doing two concepts with rice noodles. They're a great little, take 2 minutes to do. We're going to do one hot and one cold. For the hot one, you can have broth, just like in a Tetra Pak. Microwave it or heat on the stove top so it's a complete boil. Then you use your thermos and put the hot broth in here and seal it. So then the kids come to school, they open up this little box, they put their noodles here, they can, another thing is the format. So you can just do like little shavings of carrots. You don't have to even, like that's fun. They can do this themselves, by the way. Green onions are definitely your friend. They add a lot of flavor. So
and a bit of texture,
and texture. Broccoli is easy as going like this, having it washed, and just kind of cutting off little florets. And if you just put little bits like this, when you pour hot broth over it, it's going to blanch it. And frankly, kids kind of like broccoli raw, a lot of them.
Yeah, they do.
So, you know, you can have this, and then come lunchtime, kids come, they pour all their things in, they take the top off, and then if you send them with some chopsticks and a spoon, they can have a fun. Now, that doesn't really keep in like the 15-minute thing might be a bit of a stretch. But this is also you can do at your lunch.
That's actually great.
Like
Bring
adults,
it to the office.
It's your lunch. So version cold. This is a fun little silicone thing. You will never ever put anything that could leak in here, but you could put your noodles, your veggies, and your everything else in it, and then have one of these, like a balsamic vinegar or an Italian, pour it over. Just make sure you be careful when you put it back. We're
going to talk about portion size and how small you cut things, and different ways to eat your food coming up with Korey. She's going to stick with us for a little bit here as we continue to explore the art of lunch making.